GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Toronto. I'm Jordan Parker. Tonight we break down former MP Sean Chen's council bid, the tragic motorcyclist crash on Shepherd and Grand River, and a heavy rain thunderstorm warning for Saturday. Traffic snarled near the Rogers Centre after the Ed Sheeran show. Over to you, Nathan.
The Movies Under the Stars series will screen How to Train Your Dragon this Saturday at Riverdale Park, beginning at 7 p.m. with free entry for all ages.
Attendees can bring picnic blankets, and a local food truck will serve popcorn, hot dogs, and vegetarian options throughout the outdoor screening, ensuring a family-friendly atmosphere.
While admission is free, organizers recommend pre-registering online to receive a QR code for crowd control purposes, as the park anticipates a capacity of up to 5,000 spectators.
With the dragon adventure soaring under the summer sky, our community will gather for magic tonight, but first, the news. Here are our top stories.
Former Liberal MP Sean Chen has entered the race for a Toronto City Council seat in Scarborough North, marking his shift from federal to municipal politics. Simone Okonkwo has the full story.
Sean Chen, who stepped down this spring after serving as a Liberal Member of Parliament, is now throwing his hat into the municipal ring. He announced his candidacy for the vacant City Council seat in Scarborough North, saying he wants to bring his experience at the federal level to local issues. The announcement came during a gathering of local residents, where Chen outlined his focus on affordable housing, transit improvements, and supporting small businesses. He emphasized that his recent departure from Ottawa gives him a fresh perspective for Toronto's neighborhoods. Chen will join a crowded field of candidates as the city prepares for the upcoming municipal election. The filing deadline for candidates is this coming September. Simone Okonkwo, GMNA News, Scarborough.
Toronto police say a motorcycle rider was pronounced dead after a collision at the Shepherd Avenue East and Grand River Boulevard intersection around 9:30 p.m., resulting in one fatality. Dev Shohri has the full story.
Police responded to reports of a crash at the intersection of Shepherd Avenue East and Grand River Boulevard shortly after 9:30 p.m. Officers found a motorcycle involved in a head-on collision with a vehicle traveling northbound. Emergency crews worked to extricate the rider, but the motorcyclist was pronounced dead at the scene. The investigation remains ongoing, with officers gathering witness statements and reviewing traffic camera footage. No other vehicles were reported injured, and the intersection was temporarily closed while investigators processed the area. The Toronto Police Service confirmed one fatality and said they're treating the incident as a collision requiring an investigation. Traffic was rerouted onto nearby side streets, and motorists were advised to expect delays. Dev Shohri, GMNA News, Scarborough.
Toronto Fire Services is expanding decontamination protocols after a surge in lithium-ion battery fires that explode, eject projectiles, and release carcinogenic fumes, prompting new safety measures. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
Fire crews are battling a wave of lithium-ion battery blazes across the city, where cells are exploding and hurling shrapnel as they ignite. The heat and toxic fumes have forced Toronto Fire Services to widen their decontamination protocols, adding extra gear cleaning steps to strip away carcinogenic residues that ordinary washes miss. Investigators say higher charge levels are making the fires burn hotter and faster, turning ordinary devices into volatile bombs. Firefighters now wear additional respiratory protection and undergo extended cleaning cycles before returning to duty, aiming to keep both the team and the public safe. The department says the new measures will stay in place as long as the surge continues. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Toronto.
Forecasters warn heavy rain and thunderstorms will move into Toronto Saturday, after a sunny morning turns cloudy in the afternoon as a Midwest system intensifies. Dev Shohri has the full story.
Heavy rain and thunderstorms are set to roll across the city later this Saturday, August 22, 2026. The day will open with bright sun breaking through a scattering of clouds, but by early afternoon the sky will darken as a system moving up from the U.S. Midwest pushes into the region. Forecasters warn that the moisture-laden air will trigger intense downpours and frequent lightning, with the most vigorous activity expected after midday. Residents should expect slick streets and reduced visibility as the storm intensifies, while temperatures dip slightly beneath the morning highs. The pattern will linger into the evening before clearing the following day. Dev Shohri, GMNA News, Toronto.
BTS will headline 2 sold-out concerts at Rogers Stadium this weekend, Saturday, August 22nd and Sunday, August 23rd, as part of their Arirang World Tour. Dev Shohri has the full story.
BTS is set to light up Rogers Stadium this weekend with 2 sold-out shows, the final stops of their Arirang World Tour in Toronto. The first concert kicks off on Saturday, August 22nd, followed by a Sunday performance on August 23rd. Fans have already gathered in the streets of Exhibition Place, waving banners and streaming live updates as ticket demand outpaced supply. Organizers confirmed both nights are completely booked, prompting a wave of excitement across the city's K-pop community. Local businesses report a surge in early morning traffic as supporters line up for merchandise and food before heading to the stadium. The energy is palpable, with anticipation building for what promises to be a memorable weekend on stage. Dev Shohri, GMNA News, Exhibition Place.
Later we'll hear how a resident was charged after a shooting at car thieves, plus more city updates. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Ontario's municipal candidate filing deadline looms, with the registration window closing weeks before the October election, and several council seats currently lacking any nominees. Simone Okonkwo has the full story.
With the filing deadline just weeks away, the province's municipal election registration window is closing fast. Candidates must submit their papers before the cutoff that falls shortly before the October ballot. In a number of townships and cities across Ontario, no one has stepped forward for several council seats, leaving those positions officially uncontested as the deadline looms. Election officials say the open registration period began in early spring and runs through the summer, giving would-be candidates a narrow window to file. Advocates warn that empty wards could limit voter choice when polls open in October. The race to fill the remaining slots is now heating up. Municipal leaders are urging community groups to encourage interested residents to come forward before the deadline. Simone Okonkwo, GMNA News, Toronto.
Toronto Police Service charged a local resident for allegedly firing at suspects attempting to steal a vehicle from a driveway on August 19, 2026 in Toronto, Ontario. Police say the suspects were trying to take the car when the resident opened fire. Simone Okonkwo has the full story.
Police say a resident opened fire on 2 individuals trying to lift a car from a driveway on a quiet Toronto street on August 19, 2026. Officers arrived after neighbors reported gunshots, finding the suspects fleeing on foot while the homeowner remained on the scene. The Toronto Police Service charged the resident with discharging a firearm at a person and assault with a weapon, alleging the shots were fired as the suspects attempted to steal the vehicle. Investigators recovered shell casings and are reviewing surveillance footage to confirm the sequence of events. No injuries were reported among the suspects or the resident. The case remains under investigation at this time. Simone Okonkwo, GMNA News, Toronto.
Toronto City Councillor Paula Fletcher announced she will retire and will not seek re-election in the October 2026 municipal election, ending her tenure ahead of the upcoming vote. Simone Okonkwo has the full story.
Paula Fletcher announced today that she will retire from municipal politics, confirming she will not seek re-election when Toronto votes in October 2026. The longtime city councillor addressed the media in Toronto, explaining that her decision comes as the city prepares for the upcoming municipal election. Fletcher, who has served on council for several terms, thanked constituents for their support over the years and said she is stepping away to focus on the next chapter of her life. She emphasized that the choice was personal and that she hopes the community remains engaged in the democratic process. The retirement marks a notable departure ahead of the next election cycle. Simone Okonkwo, GMNA News, Toronto.
Premier Doug Ford's spring 2026 Texas trade mission, billed at just over $93,000, aims to spark billions in investment and jobs, while opposition parties criticize the expense. Tobias Kwan has the full story.
The Premier's spring visit to Texas in spring 2026 saw officials tally expenses just over $93,000, a figure uncovered through a recent Freedom of Information request. Travel, accommodation, and staff costs were logged as the Ontario government sent a delegation to meet Texas officials on trade and tariff issues. While the trip was billed as groundwork for billions of new investment and job creation, opposition parties have pointed to the cost, demanding greater transparency on how public funds are used for overseas outreach. The detailed breakdown shows airfare, hotel bills, and per diem allowances adding up to the total disclosed by the Premier's office. That's the latest from the Texas delegation for Ontario. Tobias Kwan, GMNA News, Toronto. A 60-year-old rider died in North York after his e-scooter collided with an open parked car door, adding to Toronto's growing e-scooter safety concerns. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
On August 16th in the early afternoon, a 60-year-old man riding an electric scooter collided with an open car door on a residential street in North York. Police say the scooter slammed into the door of a parked vehicle, sending the rider to the ground where he suffered fatal injuries. Emergency crews arrived quickly, but the man was pronounced dead at the scene, marking the latest death among a growing number of e-scooter incidents in the city. Officials have been reminding riders to stay alert and keep clear of vehicle doors, especially in busy neighborhoods. The Toronto Police Service is investigating the circumstances surrounding the crash as investigators continue to gather evidence. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, North York.
Let's get a look at your afternoon forecast with our meteorologist for the city.
A stubborn high-pressure ridge and a swift southwest jet keep Toronto dry under thick cloud cover. On this date, the all-time high reached 31.2 degrees Celsius in 2016, a blistering spike that rode the tail end of a record-breaking heat wave. The all-time low fell to 12.2 degrees Celsius in 2024, recorded during an unusually early cold snap that followed a lingering ridge. Normal highs hover around 23 degrees and lows near 14 degrees. So today's expected 23-degree peak sits comfortably below the historic maximum, yet well above the recent minimum. The live radar shows a quiet canvas across the Greater Toronto area, with no rain echoes from the west or the east. A steady high-pressure dome suppresses ascent, while the fast southwest jet aloft slices the atmosphere, steering any moisture far north of the region. With the ridge holding and the jet stream locked in place, the sky will remain clear of precipitation for the remainder of the day. Turning now to today's outlook. At noon, the city sits under an overcast veil at 21 degrees, humidity 71%, and a gentle north wind of 4 kilometers per hour. Pressure is steady, neither high nor low, and the southwest jet streams overhead at 158 kilometers per hour reinforce subsidence, keeping clouds thick but dry. Temperatures will climb to 22 degrees by mid-afternoon as cloud cover thins, then hold near 22 degrees into the evening. UV index reads 6, and the strongest gusts will reach 14 kilometers per hour from the south, well under the 25-kilometer threshold. No weather alerts are in force. Friday repeats today's pattern with a high of 23 degrees, low 14, and overcast skies under the same ridge. Saturday warms to 25 degrees with a low of 18, but a midday trough brings partly cloudy conditions and a 55% chance of rain as a weak cold front nudges the jet stream southward. Sunday cools slightly to 22 degrees, low 15, and a light rain probability of 60% as the front deepens. Monday sees a high of 20 degrees, low 13, partly cloudy, and a modest 25% rain chance as high pressure rebuilds. Tuesday returns to overcast with a high of 23 degrees and low 13, under a renewed ridge. Forecast. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Stay tuned for traffic snarls at the concert, movies under the stars, and Mirvish Village development update. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
The Ed Sheeran concert at the Rogers Center is the bottleneck this morning. Blue Jays Way is closed, and Lower Spadina is backed up with stopped traffic. Lakeshore Boulevard near Spadina and near Ontario Place are gridlocked, while Bremner Boulevard is a queue. Dufferin Gate sees moderate delays as fans stream in and out. On Expressway, the eastbound 401 remains choked at several construction sites. Expect moving traffic at the Highway 400 and Morningside Avenue interchange, at Avenue Road and Leslie Street, at Yonge Street and Don Mills Road, at Blesley Street and Highway 404, and at Nielsen Road and Morningside Avenue. Those pockets will add 10 to 15 minutes to a commute. Transit riders face a planned closure on Line 1 between Union and St. George, and Escalator 12B2E, 16D1E, and 16D2E are out of service. Expect longer walks and platform crowding on subway.
First up, the city's biggest cultural splash lands tomorrow. Sankofa Fest kicks off at Sankofa Square for a 3-day celebration of African history, food, and music. A must-see for anyone craving vibrant street performances and community vibes. Sports fans can also look forward to WWE Friday Night SmackDown at Scotiabank Arena tomorrow, promising high-octane action. Tonight, indie band Jutes takes the stage at the Danforth Music Hall, delivering fresh guitar-driven hooks that will lift your evening out of the office grind. If you're looking for a family-friendly unwind, head to Downsview Park for Movies Under the Stars, where How to Train Your Dragon rolls on the big screen under the night sky, perfect for a relaxed dinner after work treat. And for those still hunting weekend plans, the Canadian National Exhibition rolls on at Exhibition Place, offering rides, food stalls, and live concerts that keep the summer buzz alive. That's the lineup shaping your Thursday from now through the weekend. And now here's Marcus with sports.
Morning buzz in Toronto, baseball drama, soccer heroics, and hockey reflections. John Schneider held a post-game press conference after the Jays fell by a 1-run margin to Tampa Bay, pinpointing 2 outfield misplays by Jesus Sanchez that cost the team. The manager stressed the need to regroup quickly as the rotation heads into a crucial stretch. Nicholas Dorsch erupted in the 90th, blasting a long-range strike that beat the keeper and forced a 3-all draw for Toronto FC. The dramatic equalizer not only salvaged a point, but also showcases Dorsch's clutch instincts as the club eyes a playoff push. Defenseman Morgan really spoke at the Hockey Night in Brampton event, reflecting on a productive offseason and reaffirming his enthusiasm for every minute on the ice with the Maple Leafs. His remarks underscore a veteran's confidence heading into a demanding schedule and a push for the postseason. Stay tuned, Toronto, the season's storylines are just heating up.
Thanks, Marcus. Mirvish Village, the new mixed-use development rising in downtown Toronto, is now in its final phase. The project blends residential towers with ground-level retail space, and the developers are actively courting local boutiques, cafes, and restaurants for the freshly built storefronts. Once the doors open, the neighborhood will see a surge of foot traffic, new jobs, and a modern gathering spot that bridges the historic theater district with emerging creative corridors. City planners see the development as a catalyst for sustainable growth, while longtime residents hope it will preserve the area's artistic vibe. It matters to Toronto because every new storefront is another thread in the city's cultural fabric, keeping our streets vibrant and our communities connected. Coming up, former MP Nate Erskine-Smith will unveil his city council bid, followed by a global basic income summit right here. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. A sold-out crowd at Scotiabank Arena watched Indiana's star guard Caitlin Clark make her Toronto debut, but the Fever held on for a 101-95 victory over the home tempo. The game's energy is still buzzing downtown. Live from the arena, Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, Jordan Parker. The roar of a sold-out crowd washes over me as I stand beneath the glittering rafters of Scotiabank Arena, the scent of popcorn and fresh-cut grass mixing in the summer night air. Fans in teal and orange flood the 19,300-seat bowl, waving banners for the Indiana Fever and the brand-new Toronto Tempo. On the hardwood, WNBA star Caitlin Clark darts past defenders, her eyes locked on the basket. She drops 24 points, slices through the defense, and dishes out 7 assists, her confidence palpable with every dribble. The Fever's bench erupts as the clock winds down, the final buzzer sealing a 101-95 victory. Beyond the scoreboard, the game marks a milestone. Clark's Toronto debut draws unprecedented excitement, signaling the city's growing love for women's basketball and giving the Tempo a thrilling introduction to the league. This night isn't just about a win, it's about a community rallying around a new era of sport. Carl Dumont virtually at Scotiabank Arena.
Welcome back. Former Liberal MP Nate Erskine-Smith has entered the race for a Toronto City Council seat in the Beach's East York ward, with the campaign slated to begin in October 2026. Simone Okonkwo has the full story.
Former Liberal MP Nate Erskine-Smith has thrown his hat into the municipal race, declaring his candidacy for the Beach's East York ward on Toronto City Council. The announcement came as the city gears up for the October 2026 municipal election. Erskine-Smith, who served 3 terms in the federal parliament representing Toronto, said he wants to bring his experience on climate action, transit, and affordable housing to local government. He noted his decision follows a period away from elected office, during which he remained active on community boards and advocacy groups. The former MP will join a crowded field of local candidates vying for the seat. Simone Okonkwo, GMNA News, Beaches.
International scholars, policymakers, and the Basic Income Earth Network gather in Toronto this week, representing 30-plus countries, to debate Canada's pending Senate Basic Income Bill at the Global Basic Income Congress. Tobias Kwan has the full story.
Over the past few days, delegates from more than 30 nations have converged on Toronto for the Basic Income Earth Network Congress. Scholars, policymakers, and researchers are filling conference rooms, swapping data, and debating the details of a Senate-proposed Universal Basic Income Bill. Sessions this week trace Canada's evolving basic income landscape, comparing it with pilots and experiments abroad. The gathering, backed by the Canadian Senate and the Basic Income Earth Network, aims to shape recommendations that could influence legislation once the bill moves forward. With panels on funding models, social impact, and implementation timelines, the Congress provides a rare chance for global expertise to intersect with local policy deliberations. Tobias Kwan, GMNA News, Toronto.
Thank you, Toronto, for joining us on the lunch break. Today's look at the fire department's new safety steps as lithium-ion battery fires rise showed our city's commitment to protection. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Stay tuned and have a great afternoon.